gonna grin. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. Never gonna lose, never gonna win. Long as you're happy, you're always gonna grin. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. We are live. Hello, Billie. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So let's get your name up so everybody can see who you are. So my very first question, Billie, who are you? What do you do? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, actually, I'm going to say your energy is always so infectious. Like, it makes me want to stand up when I'm working.
Come on, stand up, do it.
So I'm Billie Mcloughlin. I am a practice consultant and chair of 2020 Tech Talk. I have been in the accounting industry for 13 years, worked in practice for 12 of them, qualified as an accountant, did all my exams, and not long after qualifying, decided that accounts maybe weren't something that I really enjoyed doing day to day. So I moved over to all the opportunities that come with cloud technology, and I've never looked back.
Fantastic. Hang on. Did you say that you've been doing this for 13 years?
Yes.
What did you do? Start when you were 5?
Yes, so 13 years I've been in it now.
My goodness. Okay. So a little message there from Sharon and hi, Kirsty. How are you doing? So you're an accountant, you're a trained accountant, but now you're helping accountants with all this other stuff that you do with 2020 and 2020 Tech Talk. Come on.
Exactly.
What is that?
So 2020 Tech Talk is a brand new membership. We launched this week, which is super exciting. And I've always known of 2020. When I worked in practice, we were 2020 members, and the CPD and the extra stuff that came with 2020 was just invaluable for us. The support they gave during COVID and everything was just unbelievable. I think what's really important is 2020 have always identified not just the CPD they do, the intelligence of the people I meet in 2020 is just, it blows my mind. But on top of that, they've always been really good at identifying the extra stuff that the accountants need. So a bit of extra resource with marketing, etc. And at the moment, we've got a lot of products launching that are helping with sort of retaining talent. And, off the back of that, Tech Talk was formed from my passion of tech and also my experience within practice. So Tech Talk is this fantastic membership where people will get access to hundreds and hundreds of hours of research from myself, completely objective. I'm not paid by any software to promote them. And it's a really great safe space community for accountants to come and talk about their current systems and where they would like to go and get all that support from myself and other members as well.
I love this. I'm a big tech freak. So I don't know if you know, but I actually used to work for Digita. And so I go back an awful long way with you guys, with Ian and Gordon, because I used to come around and do your conferences, and we used to do your little tours and stuff like that. So yeah, I love tech, and I think if you embrace tech, you can make life so much easier.
Yes.
So it's all those sorts of things that are brilliant, and because you've been using it and you're passionate about it, you're probably the best person to talk to. Because people could talk to me. So when I was back at Digita, they talked to me about tech. And yes, I'd like to sell them Digita, but I was aware of what else was out there. And sometimes I'd go and see somebody and they'd be using one of the others. I can mention Iris or Sage or whatever, can't I? It's my show. But they'd be using Iris or Sage. I go, oh, I want your Digita because you do this, this, and this. I go, well, actually, Sage does that. And it's sort of like, and I think what happens is we all get drawn to these shiny new things, and we sort of like think, oh, that's brilliant, it's going to do that. And but your software does that. And I think with you driving all of this, you'll be able to say, great, this software is really good for this. But you've probably got it in whatever you've got, and then people can, awesome.
So one of the things I'm quite passionate about promoting with tech is there is some fantastic new products out there, and I'll be the first to say that. But also, the new features in existing products is just as important, if not more so, because you aren't then implementing change, having that extra cost, having the staff resistance, the client resistance. You already have that system. And I think all too often people forget to use their account managers with software. So for example, use of Digita. Instead of coming to you and saying, I would love it if Digita did this, they would spend hours and hours and hours on Google looking for a new software that did it, that was probably double the price, and have all that pain that comes with the new software. And I think on top of that as well, just going back to what you said about, being in practice, I think it's easy sometimes to stand up and say, hey, in an ideal practice, you should use X, Y, and Z. And actually, having been in practice, I understand sort of the day-to-day doing a set of accounts, the communication breakdown between bookkeepers and accountants, what clients are actually interested in. And I think it's having those experiences will really, really help me have that empathetic ear with our members.
No, I love that. That was another thing that I always said, and I say it now because I coach accountants and bookkeepers, and I always say, don't just go for this bit of software.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone, talk to your incumbent, tell them how you're feeling, and the chances are your software does it anyway, or it's on the roadmap, or they're working out how to do that. There's been a battle with Centre and Accountancy Manager. I know there's not really a battle, but so like which camp are you in? And there's always a camp for blue and green when it comes to bookkeeping software. So like, oh yeah, but this one's better because it does this. Well, speak to your account manager. Your account manager knows the software inside and out. And if they don't, they know someone who does.
Yeah.
And I think we spend too much time looking, like magpies.
Yeah, I'm certain I'm like inherently positive. It's just in me. I just love to be positive about things. I'm not going to be bashing certain products. I think if we flip it on its head, I will actually be saying to our members, oh, you currently use Sage. Look how fantastic it's looking for the future of Sage. You currently use Iris. Okay, this is what it's going to be doing. This is what it currently does. Instead of saying you're using that and it doesn't do this. I will obviously be discussing the limitations because I think that is a really missing piece in the jigsaw in tech. You speak to, business development managers in a tech and they will say, our software is fantastic and it does everything you could want it to do. It'll make you a cup of tea in the morning. And when you actually start using it, there are a few hurdles that you have to jump through. And I'm not, hoops that you have to jump through. And I'm not saying that there isn't a way around them, but I think it's about that transparency of, okay, this doesn't do that. If you're okay with it, then this software is great.
Yeah, there's a couple of things going on there. I'll just see if I can find my book. Yes, this is an amazing book. Okay, it's written by the amazing Dr. Linda Shaw. It's all about neuroscience. Okay, and the thing is, we always look for the negatives.
Yeah,
so you've got a bit of software and it does 99 things out of 100 that you need it to do. But you will focus on the one thing that it doesn't do.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that drives us to find the other software. And the problem is there is no such thing as a silver bullet. Because that's what everybody's looking for. And I think the practice management guys have got it hardest because they're trying to build these amazing platforms that will do everything.
Yeah,
that's never going to happen because nothing could do everything. And then you sort of like, right, okay, does it connect to Zapier? So if it connects to Zapier, then I can do this, this, and this. And then you start looking at things differently. I've spoken to people that have grabbed hold of Monday and spent hours and hours and hours on Monday.com getting it doing amazing things, which is another way to go.
Yeah.
And every single week there's something new coming out. And so, you've got an unenviable job keeping on top of all of that.
Yeah, and I think as well, it will be accountancy focused. So that Monday is a great app. It's very business centered rather than accountancy centered, and the way I'll be going will be for accountants, so that they're not wasting their time on apps that don't have accountants at the center of their world as well.
No, perfect. So I sign up for this new tech talk, and Sharon's put the link in there. So if anyone wants to go Sharon. And do that, so I sign up for it. What do I get?
So you will get access to our resource hubs. I'm creating abstract templates, fact sheets. There'll be scripts on how to roll out new software to clients, and also ways of handling objections of your current team. My top 7 tips for tech is in there. There's also quarterly webinars to do with new products and new features in existing products, where I'll be kind of just going through those with our members. The point of that is that that's 1 hour a quarter, when actually it would be dozens and dozens of hours worth of research, if not hundreds of hours worth of research and relationship building with our software partners to have those discussions and find out what's going on. And I will be just throwing all the highlights into that 1 hour webinar, explaining it in the most clear and concise way, no jargon. I'm not somebody that likes all the tech jargon. I'm not that. I don't speak like an accountant. I speak like a normal person and make it dead easy to understand. And then also there'll be quarterly focus groups where people can have those open and honest discussions with other accountants that are experiencing the same challenges, and also share the success stories that come along with them as well. So yeah, there's plenty in there, and monthly newsletters to share amongst the team, get everybody really riled up for tech and what's to come in the industry.
Yeah, I think the team stuff is the hardest. I once rolled out Digita right into a practice, and I went there and sort of like saw the receptionist and I said, "Oh, hi, I'm here to see Dave," or whoever the guy's name was. And yeah, and you are? I said, "Well, I'm actually coming to." And so what are you doing? I said, "I'm coming to install the new software." New software? What's this for? I said, "Well, right, right, okay." And none of the staff knew that this software was going in today.
Yeah.
And you sort of like think, really? You're on a hiding to nothing. This is going back an awful long time, and you know, the companies nowadays have onboarding teams. They've got programs and goodness knows what. This was probably 13, 14, 15 years ago.
So some of the larger practices I've seen job descriptions and things like that. Oh, that's another thing that will be included actually, because some of the larger practices, I won't name one, but there's one that is growing rapidly in the UK, and they actually have internally, they have change specialists who help with those digital transformations, which is fantastic. I think that is just brilliant. But I appreciate that, you know, majority of accountants don't have the budget in terms of finance or time to do that. So hopefully we'll be helping overcome that and allowing that and giving a lot of that knowledge that you would have as an internal change specialist, but with me.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's your top tip then for an accountant putting in brand new software this week? What would be the first thing you'd say to them if they, you know, they've got an old bit of software, they're buying this shiny new thing that does everything for them because they've done all the research, they've spoken to everybody, but they're implementing it this week. What would be the top thing you suggest they did?
I think the stakeholder analysis when it comes to software is just crucial. So whoever is going to be involved in this software needs to be involved in the pre and post implementation of it. You know, you can't just, if as a partner, you cannot implement a software for your bookkeepers if you don't do the bookkeeping, because you actually don't know what challenges they face every single day. So I think that stakeholder analysis and communication is just, it's the top tier thing, and it always will be, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I love that. I was sat chatting to one of my clients years ago now, and I said, look, if you're thinking of putting this software in, they were going to bring in a couple of different software vendors to sort out this one problem, and so vendor A, vendor B, and I said, make sure that you've got some of your team in that meeting. And it's sort of like, well, they're not going to make a decision. We're the partners. We're going to do that. No. Get them in. Get them in there, because they're going to ask the questions that you probably won't think of. You know, you're going to look at cost and things like that. You know, Sally and Dave are going to look at how easy it is to use. Can I do this with it?
Yeah, people want to know what's in it for them as well. You know, that's fine. That's a human reaction to change. So it's about communicating that and then making people aware that job's going to be nicer, the days are going to be easier, and they're going to be doing more challenging work sometimes, which is more exciting for some people. So I think you've got to work that out. And I think that goes back to that tech piece of people thinking that robots are replacing people and all the rest of it.
They're not.
There will always be that. It's the human aspect is more important than anything else. And it's, it's great that we can produce these reports, but actually communicating them with clients is what seals the deal in terms of that relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if I mentioned neuroscience, because the other thing is we're pre-wired to hate change. That's how we're manufactured. We don't like change. It's there to protect us. Mm-hmm. So when your senior partner turns around and says, right, we're having this new software, you start turning into a caveman and worrying about the saber-toothed tigers. So yeah, it's really, really important. Mm-hmm. So here's a question for you. It's not on the list. Why did you go from being an accountant to now going into what you're doing? Because it's, so normally, and I'm generalizing here, but normally you start off in accountancy, you work your way up, you get yourself a decent role, and you either become a partner or a decent senior or something, or you go and set your own business up.
Yeah.
You've jumped out of that. And there's a couple of people within our community that are doing similar things, going to work for some of the software providers. So what was your reasoning behind all of that? If you're happy to share,
yeah, that. Definitely. So I think at this point, I mean, I'm not sure if he's watching actually, but I do owe quite a lot to my very first boss. I was in the first practice I was with for like over 10 years. I was there from being a school leaver through to being quite senior within the practice, helping them with mergers and acquisitions and all sorts, and making decisions like this. And it came to that crossroads of the future being potentially a partner or what else is out there, I guess. And I was very fortunate to have Richard, who recognised that I had this, I guess, like a different approach to accountancy, and he really helped me flourish in that. I'm naturally quite entrepreneurial, and I think I love the idea of helping more and helping more practices. So, as I said, I'd worked with 2020 in the past, being huge fans of Gordon Gilchrist and Ian and the work that they've done. And I think for me, the thought of doing what they did for us, if I could do that for other people, that's like the dream job. Like, that's fantastic, because I know how much they did for us as a practice. And the thought of me being able to help all these firms who across the country, who accountants naturally like to help people and quite often forget that they are also a business, to be able to help accountants across the country remember that they are businesses as well. There was no option for me at that point. I knew where I wanted to go, and I had great backing from the practice that I worked at, because they could see that's where I was tuned to be, which is fantastic. And honestly, the team at 2020 are just exactly what you'd expect. So I think sometimes when you look under the hood, it's a bit like, whoa, I got there, and they are just even nicer than I thought they were from before. Like, they're just fantastic. They're so intelligent, so hardworking, and I can see now why we receive such a great service as a practice, because of the hard work that goes on behind the scenes. So yeah, I'm so over the moon that I can now be part of that team.
No, fantastic. We can see it in your face. And I'm guessing they pay you as well. What a bonus.
Yeah, bonus.
What
exactly.
an absolute bonus.
Work.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. We've gone over our 50 minutes already, which is a joke, but that's absolutely fine.
I am a chatter.
I want to know a little story of how you've helped an accountancy practice with what you're doing. So if you can.
I mean, at the moment, there's plenty of stories in terms of, I think one great thing about being in the position I'm in now is that element of being able to share the stories across, Scotland, Northern Ireland, England, being able to share those stories between practices and let them know what other practices are doing, and that community we've created. I mean, that's invaluable in itself. I mean, there's a huge war on talent at the moment in the industry, like many industries. It's so tough out there. Normal size practices cannot compete with the Big 10 in terms of salaries, and we're seeing a huge struggle there. So recently a practice has adopted a software which has then allowed them to take down an advertisement for a member of staff, which, I mean, apart from the fact the software cost a fifth of the salary would have cost, it's also benefited the internal team, but it's taken away that additional stress of trying to recruit talent. So there's stories like that all the time, which is great. But that's one that will always stick with me, because I know that took a lot of burden off the partner's shoulders.
I think this is where tech talk comes in, isn't it? Yeah. It's because we're thinking that tech is going to replace people. Actually, tech will save us hiring people. Yes. And if we get our processes sorted and stuff like that, then that's really good. What's the biggest challenge you see with accountants and bookkeepers at the moment, Billie?
I think the two, like I'll say two, because one I've just mentioned, which is the talent war, and it's just so difficult. I think other than adopting technology or potentially offshoring and outsourcing, it's not going away. So the accountants need to adapt the way they think about it, and pricing as well. So I think accountants get a little bit worried about pricing because they're so close to the clients and they want to help them, and they know that money might be a little bit tight, so they don't want to put the prices up. So those are two of the biggest ones that we're helping a lot of our members with.
No, fantastic. And that's across the whole of what 2020 do. And then you've also got the tech talk thing as well. Yeah. So what's your one bit of advice you would give an accountant right now?
So do you know what it is? It's a bit like the COVID word that nobody wants to say anymore. MTD is like going to be just the most annoying phrase that people hear. But with MTD coming, and there's no avoiding it, it's about collating that information. Have you seen that matrix? It's just four boxes, and it sort of says what's urgent and not important.
Yeah.
Do you know which one I mean?
I do know. It's got a name as well, but yeah, carry on.
Yeah, I think making sure that we don't slip into that urgent and important box by collating the information, getting systems in place now, and getting that knowledge within your team and your practice as best as it can be now ahead of MTD, and it will make it so much easier. Doing it now while it's important and not urgent. So my number one piece of advice would be to get as much information as you can on your clients in a very nice system with great workflows within your practice.
Fantastic. Love that. Absolutely love that. And you've got a conference coming up too as well. Is that right?
Yes, we have. So that's on the 2nd of November. As I said, weird for me because I've always been on the seats,
the other side.
Yeah, and this time I will be doing my own session, which is exciting. I'll be alongside Gordon, which is brilliant. And again, the speakers are fantastic. We've just recently actually added an economist to it, because we need somebody to kind of tell us the bleak stuff in an informed way. So we've got a fantastic speaker called Justin Eckert who's going to be doing that. And that's the 2nd of November. So if anybody is interested in attending that, drop me a message on LinkedIn, and I can give you all the details that you need.
No, that's absolutely fantastic. It's Eisenhower. I knew it had a name.
Oh, okay, that's the grid. Yeah, I'm going to remember that now.
Thanks, Sharon. And Sharon's also put into the chat the actual matrix, so you can go and find that. So
she's on it, isn't she?
We like Sharon. You can come again, Sharon. Thank you very much. She said she's just sorry. She's sorry that she's spamming the chat, but no, it's important that people want to know this stuff. So thanks ever so much, Sharon. You can come again. So it's every Wednesday at 12:30. Absolutely superb. I've got one more question for you. It's been a delight having you, but I just want to go to next week so everybody knows who's coming next week. And I've got returners coming next week. Where are we? There's that one that I want to get rid of. Here we go. It's in here somewhere. There we go. Next week, I have got Dermot, Lucy and Richard from Account for Your Future. They did their conference a couple of weeks ago. So they're going to come back and let us know how they got on, what's happening, and what the plans are for the future. So looking forward to catching up with those guys again. We've got a couple of questions here, I think, coming in. So if anyone's got any questions. Oh, so Sharon is coming back next week to help in the background. So that's awesome. Thanks, Sharon. I love that. Thanks, everybody, for watching. So my last question, Billie, to you is, when you're at primary school So when you said earlier you left school and went straight into this practice, I take it was secondary school and not primary school that you left.
Yeah.
But while you were at primary school, okay, and you, I don't know what you do in the playground and what have you, what did you want to be when you grew up?
So this is going to sound really sad. There was actually two things. The first was I really enjoyed maths. I'm a nerd, and I always have been, and I really enjoyed maths. And a few people had said I'd make a good accountant because that was what everybody talks about when you like maths. And I remember a teacher saying to me, and maybe it's because I'm very much an extrovert. I'm very chatty, and he said to me, "Oh, the day Billie Mcloughlin becomes an accountant is the day I'll become a prime minister." And I remember him saying that, and I thought,
really?
I can't be an accountant. That's not me. I can't be one. So I changed, and when I started secondary school, I looked into being a weather girl. Yeah, I was like, oh, I love geography because I love traveling, and I like the thought of, informing people. So yeah, weather girl was what I looked into, but it never quite came off. There's not many weather girls come from Hull.
when you're up on stage, right? At the conference, then you can be turning around. You can be your weather girl then. I
can have my moment.
Absolutely. And how great that you did actually become an accountant. So was your teacher at the time Boris Johnson?
He wasn't there.
No. Oh, right, okay. So he's never been the prime minister.
No, and I actually saw him in a local Sainsbury's about 7 or 8 years ago, and I've stopped him and I said, "Guess what I do for a job?"
Oh, brilliant! Oh, well done, Billie. That is awesome. What did he say?
He just said, "Hats off to you." Like he said, he just didn't expect it. But I guess as well, if you go back 15 or so years ago, even longer, 15, 20 years ago, the accountant, the type of accountant you would picture then is different to now, which is great, and I love that.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I'm really pleased that I have joined the profession throughout such an incredible time of change.
No, fantastic. Hey, you are a delightful guest. Have a fantastic time at Accountants next week.
Yes.
Enjoy your conference, and I look forward to seeing more of what you're doing with Tech Talk. So thanks ever so much for being with us, and thanks for your sidekick, Sharon, for joining in as well. Thanks everybody
Sharon.
for joining us. We will be back next week. Thanks ever so much, Billie.
See you soon. Bye.
Cheerio now. Bye-bye.